like kind of get back. I don't want you to rush into it now because everyone's very much interested in hearing your side of the story. Let's see here.
Understood. Let me actually grab the headphones. I have my India's baby boy, the 4-year-old, and I don't want to, I got to also protect him.
Right.
Okay, and so let me put his headset on here and his iPad, and just that way I can share a few details here.
Okay, we're
All right. Let me turn that down. Okay, there we go.
okay.
All right.
All right, guys. Hey, first of all, guys, thank y'all for hanging in here with us. I ran into a technical issue. I think they knew I was going to have an important conversation with Gina. I guess that's why it happened. But thank you for staying with us. Blog Talk Radio, Stitcher Radio, iTunes, Meerkat, and YouTube. Okay, so I'm sorry, ma'am. What is your first and last name?
My full name is Gina, and my last name is Best, B-E-S-T.
You know what? I think I added you today. I started following you today, actually, Miss Best.
Yeah, we did. We did. We corresponded a bit on Twitter earlier today.
Great. And what I read so far, were you privy? Did you hear earlier when I was reading portions from the Washington Post?
I was, and that was the article by Ian Shapira. I did have the opportunity to speak with him. But one thing that's blatantly clear to me is that the press will either embellish or they will have partial information and then try to jump from there. My daughter was only 27 years young. She resided here. I'm in Columbia, Maryland. She is in College Park, Maryland. I noticed that I did speak to her in the present tense because it's still very much of a challenge for me to refer to my beautiful daughter in the past tense. So if I do that, just know that that is intentional. The article itself is based off of some of the information that I provided because the interview was truncated. They never really provide or do all of it. The intent most times is to either sensationalize or to vilify or to contaminate. That's just all there is to it. And in this instance, with Mr. Perry and my daughter, it was her car that they were sitting in. She was in the driver's seat. They had just returned, had been in Virginia Beach for all of less than 3 hours, and they were both gunned down. We are not referring to anyone who had an outstanding warrant. There were no outstanding arrest warrants or active warrants on Mr. Perry. My daughter, India, had absolutely no criminal history whatsoever. The police obviously, in their mind, saw both of them as expendable. They were after him for whatever reason. They did not give him due process. They did not protect my daughter's life, nor did they protect his life. And I need to add that in the pursuit of Mr. Perry, they created the volatility. They're the ones who chose not to make any prudent life-saving decisions on behalf of my daughter. Because as soon as they recognized that my daughter was operating the vehicle, and if you listen to the police chief, Severa, he says that they visually identified Mr. Perry. That also is very clear that they visually identified my daughter, India Kager, driving her car. They did not pull back. They did not continue to surveil as they claimed that they were surveilling them for 30 minutes. They continued in this pursuit of this gentleman. And my firm belief is that the intent was never to allow him to walk away alive, and that anybody who was in association with him or in the vicinity, they also, as I stated earlier, were expendable in the eyes of the poor Virginia Beach police. I needed to be clear that that was a SWAT tactical unit who murdered my daughter and Mr. Perry, not regular uniformed police. They blocked my daughter's car. She was parked at 7-Eleven, and I don't have a lot of information. So some of the information, excuse me, I am very careful that I do not want to cause any problems on a future case for my daughter, but I know no fear. I am a mother on a mission, and I'm relentless in pursuing justice for my daughter. She was highly articulate, intelligent, very soft-spoken, very loving. She was nursing my grandson 100%. So that futile attempt at them claiming to go get bottles was ridiculous and pointless. They murdered my daughter, murdered Mr. Perry.
Wow.
I can continue.
Wow,
I can continue.
Well, let me
state that. Go ahead.
Well, let me just interject and say, based on what I've been reading, and you saw the Washington Post article, there are other articles. I chose that one because some of them were very brief, and they depicted it a totally different scenario.
Absolutely.
They started mentioning his background as if that had something to do with that night. They mentioned, the location. They did not definitively say, hey, he wasn't driving. That changes so much for the average person. You know what I mean? Just
it does.
And that he had no warrants.
No warrants. And further, let me address that. I'll address the fact that I can talk tonight. I have to let you know that I contend with crushing grief daily. Daily over the murder of my daughter. Because I know India's temperament, and it really bothers me that the last thing that my daughter ever saw on this earth before she was killed was four white officers holding rifles at her, firing their bullets. That's the last thing she saw. She died protecting her baby. And she was driving her car, the very car that her grandfather gave her. Now, let me state Mr. Perry. Okay, a couple of things. He was diminutive in stature. We're not talking about a tall gentleman. He spent time in jail from age 21 to approximately either 33 or 34. That right there tells you that if you come out of jail and being incarcerated, you made a mistake as a young man, probably young and angry, again, I don't want to be presumptuous, but I will state that when you go and you're incarcerated that young, and the majority of your adult manhood is behind bars, incarcerated, That's not easy. He was a young man at 21 for a crime that he committed, which is even then questionable. This gentleman spoke in his music of recent, before he was killed. He spent a lot of time in a music studio, and that was his passion. There was his music producer who was interviewed, and he'll be more than happy, because I'm starting to get people, now that they realize, this woman is out there. I've got heels to the pavement and boots to the pavement. I'm not playing. I'm out here fighting for my daughter and for Mr. Perry, and the fact that they murdered him as well. So I'm getting off the path. When they return to Virginia Beach, I would like to know, how is it that when there are amber alerts or silver alerts of cars, it's a needle in a haystack for them to be located. It takes a while. Somebody knew the car that my daughter was driving. I have to reiterate, she did not live in Virginia Beach since last year. My daughter moved back home here in College Park, Maryland, October of 2014. Had not been in Virginia Beach until August, a week before they were killed. And when they get back to Virginia Beach in less than 3 hours, they're both dead. I need to state that she was driving the car. Police Chief Severa claims that they were surveilling them for 30 minutes. That tells me that they either saw them from a structure, leave a structure, and they're surveilling them, because we're talking about a supposed highly trained SWAT team. The fact that they claim that they did not know my 4-month-old grandson in a car is absolutely ludicrous. We are law enforcement family. And if you have a tip-off, or if you're claiming are surveilling, you do not rely on night vision of unaided. You usually use some type of device that you're going to make sure that you have identified the correct person. They stated that they identified Mr. Perry. But that statement alone, it also tells you that they clearly saw my daughter driving her car, and it's a Maryland tag. And they would have ran the tag and got some information. It would come back as registered in her name. They would have had her name and they would probably have stated, maybe an unidentified African-American woman operating a vehicle. So correct there. Chief Severa stated in a press release, he didn't even really mention my daughter's name because the whole intent is to vilify Mr. Perry, paint him in the most menacing way,
right,
so that the public will then look at my daughter and ask questions like, why was she with the criminal? Why was she,
right,
those questions are impertinent to the facts of the matter here. And then that is the Virginia Beach police tracked, I'm going to use the word stalked, a gentleman that they said was a person of interest in a supposed homicide case. They never specified which case they were referring to, and I've been doing my own digging. So you best believe I'm counting dots, connecting dots, trying to find out exactly what the time frame would be. Because remember, he got out of jail on probation last year in 2014. So that means that something would have had to occur in a year's time. Therefore, which crime was he supposedly a person of interest in? Also, if they had that information, as you stated earlier on your program, it's shoddy police work because they really did not. They're using this as a vapor and as a smokescreen to hide their highly militarized actions and the fact that this was an organized hit. And I'm using those words intentionally. Organized in the fact that it's a SWAT team in pursuit on a holiday weekend. They somehow miraculously locate my daughter's car, Maryland tags. They locate them sitting in a parking lot of a 7-Eleven. Sitting in a parking lot of a 7-Eleven in full view of the camera. So the claim that they got a tip, quote unquote, that he was going to commit a crime in their area. Since when is preemptive policing lawful? They killed this man off of an assumption. And they killed my daughter because if she ever survived and was able to tell what really happened, there would be some issues. They could not, and again, in my opinion, this was a hit. Because nothing they say makes sense. None of their actions were logical. None of them were prudent. None of them were designed to protect her life. And further, I will tell you that her car was parked in the spot right there in front of the camera. They blocked my daughter's car with a silver panel van and a blue SUV truck. They blocked her car so that, of course, she couldn't black out, whatever the intent was, they did that. Then they exited those vehicles and they threw what's called a flash bang diversionary device. What that does is it renders one sensory.
Right.
Your hearing and your sight is temporarily, at that moment, you can't see and you can't hear. They claim that they gave an order, but what order did they give? I am convinced that that video is going to show them throwing that flashbang grenade, then advancing on that car and firing 30 rounds. Here's why. There were frontal hits on my daughter. My daughter took some hits. I've seen her pictures. I stopped counting the bullet holes. Give me a moment. You're hearing my anger, but let me just collect for a second. Beautiful young lady, and to see those kind of pictures of what they did to my baby. Excuse me.
Take your time.
Then they claim that they didn't know the baby was in the car.
Right.
Any mother traveling, typically, and if they have any surveillance, the electronic, they're going to hear my grandson because he's a very happy baby and he gurgles a lot. And mothers usually, when we have our babies in cars with us, we usually look ahead. We just make sure we check on. One of them turned around and looked at that baby. They're lying. And this was intentional because there's a cluster of bullets where my daughter was sitting, and there's a cluster of bullets where Mr. Perry was sitting. Their front windows were rolled down because I searched and did a search on that day that they were killed. Between 11:30 and 11:35, Saturday, September 5th at night. It was warm, so she didn't have her windows rolled up. And knowing India, my daughter's musician, she was self-taught. She played 5 instruments. Mr. Perry was also a well-known reggae artist in Virginia Beach. Well-known reggae artist in Virginia Beach. That's how he supported himself. Mm-hmm. More than likely, they were playing music. They had no idea that they were being stalked. Someone blocks the car, throws a flashbang grenade.
There was no chance. In less than 15 seconds, my daughter, India Kager, and Mr. Perry were dead. This was a hit, and they need to be held accountable for what they did to her. Because now we have a 4-year-old little boy who asked for his mother. She looked a lot like me, and so therefore it comforts him a little bit. Where I was already close with Evan anyway, and Roman. 2 little boys who don't have their mother. And I don't have my daughter. We're in a holiday season.
Right.
And those 4 police officers are with their family while my daughter is buried. And my tears saturate her grave. This is absolutely uncalled for. And the fact that it has not received national attention, right. I believe that for several reasons. Because there is already a judgment in people's eyes that here we go, another black man, a criminal. That's exactly what Virginia Beach police wanted people to think. That's why they put that information out. You will notice that they very rarely, if at all, speak of my daughter because it makes them look bad. How did you fire on a car, a parked car, with an innocent woman sitting in there with a gentleman whom you claim is the person of interest? You fired 30 rounds, and you claim that her death was accidental, incidental, and not intended. Well, tell me.
Well, Ms. Best.
One thing's for sure. They claim that Black Lives Matter. Mm-hmm. I hear about the movement and some controversy around that. Yeah. But, Mr. Tim, one thing's very clear to me, and then I'll let you speak, is when those 4 officers held their rifles at my daughter and Mr. Perry, their lives did not matter. And that's the problem. That's the problem.
Well, I think that you hit the nail on the head, Ms. Best. First of all, lady, I want to say my deepest, I really have no words really to express what I know that you're going through, but I think right now would be the perfect time for us to do a series of videos on this story, because I think I alluded to it earlier. I was talking off topic, and I said, I learned when I was writing to some local magazines, and I was trying to get published. They would tell me, Tim, you have to have a hook. You have to have a hook for your story. The hook for this story, Miss Best, is going to be that little kid, the little 6-year-old autistic child that was gunned down. We need to tie this story.
Jeremy, yes, Martis.
We need to Martis, that's correct. We need to tie Jeremy Martis' story to this story so that people can relate to it better, so that they can get a context, because you're right. They're doing a good job of making the context be. And I'm someone who does not go in the tank and say, black people do this and black people do that and but they painted a perfect scenario. Washington Post, for instance. They gave people that inclination that, this is a situation, like you said, where we got a thug, and this girl is probably a thug riding with a thug, and that's what she get. That's what they're doing. And the only way for us to combat that...
It's called victim blame.
Victim blame, right.
Victim blame.
They laid they put down the breadcrumbs, and a lot of people, I'm sure, are picking them up and following it without knowing it, though. So I will make sure. We're not just going to do this. We're not just going to do this radio show tonight. I'm going to do a video in the next couple of days that's going to expose some of the points that you've made. And I'm telling you, I think we can make some noise. I saw a couple.
There's a lot more.
I'm sure. I'm
sorry.
No, go right ahead. What I need you to do is just commit to passing my information, my contact information, to those others who are working with you. I know Attorney Mom is working with you. I see that you've made some progress, but I'd like to speak with them as well.
Yeah, I'm trying to get her story out. Okay. Because the thing, Mrs. Black, is that I went to Virginia Beach myself, and I'll tell you offline, but then, I'll state it. I went to the Virginia Beach Police Department, and I refused to leave. I let them know, y'all gonna have to arrest me. because under the FOIA law, I don't have any information about my daughter. I don't have her personal effects. My daughter was an artist. I need her sketchbooks and everything that I know she kept in her car. We have nothing.
Where's the dash cam? Where is the dash cam footage?
So, it's not even dash cam. They claim that they have no dash cam or body cam. Yet this was a SWAT team. The footage is a 7-Eleven. And I went to the 7-Eleven as well, and I spoke with the owner. The address is 2093 Lynn Haven Parkway, and I went there. I'm going back to Virginia Beach because I've been able to make some headway.
Okay.
While I'm down there, I mean, I'm not threatening. I'm a woman, a mother, looking for answers.
Right.
Because India was 27 years young. She had promises. She was just doing everything she could for her boys. Everything. We're talking about someone who is soft-spoken. I'm not soft-spoken in the least, but my daughter was. And she really was just so gifted and so spiritual and so poetic. Even from, I came across some of her poems. And I have to tell you that she was so thoughtful and really a deep thinker. And in the fact that for them to state, oh God, excuse me, let me let you talk, sir.
I understand. I understand exactly what you're saying because, and this is something I've been trying to tell my viewers about how I know, I hear you. How they, wow.
Her, she's dehuman. They don't even humanize her. That's why I didn't even know how to use Twitter a few days ago. I just been on there just determined because that's going to be one of the routes that I need to let people see her as a person, not just a person, a mother. She was nursing her son, for Pete's sake. She was nursing her baby. They were sitting there waiting to meet a friend. I don't want to give away too much, but I'm just going to tell you. And she said when she left Saturday morning, she'd be back because she had to go to work Monday. Had I known that would be the last time, I think. Oh, God.
Gotcha.
They don't know the ripple effect. It reverberates. Our community, we're treated less than chattel, less than animals. There has been very little change in how they perceive us. You can be highly articulate, intelligent, go to school, educated, walk and live a life, and still in a viewpoint of the police, and in this instance, they saw her differently. They saw her less than deserving to live, because there's no other reason why they did not protect her civil rights. Protect her civil rights. She had a right to live. They were judge and jury by bullets based on the amount of melanin in her skin. And that's a travesty. And him as well. Because he wore locks. You know, most Rasta people are not really criminal in that respect.
Yep.
They will speak out against what they call Babylon, which is police. And I listened to his music, and I had to have someone interpret because he has a thick accent. But that's what I heard. And anything spiritual like that is going to attract my daughter. She's just that way. She was so accepting and beautiful and unassuming of people. All she wanted to do was live and raise her kids. That's what most of us want to do, just raise our families, be with our family. Sure. And they've gone us down. It's not just Tamir Rice. It's Tamir Rice. I'm him as well. I am Trayvon Martin. I'm Oscar Grant. I'm Rakia Boyd. I'm Laquan McDonald. He's all of us. These are our babies. This is our family. And they consider us worthless. And they lie and posture and cover up so that they themselves can keep their jobs and look like we're doing something to help when they're not. Oh, they're investigating for these lengthy investigations. Where is the law when it comes to people of color who are just trying to live?
Yep. Well,
My daughter, a Navy vet. She served her country, and she died from bullets from those who were supposed to protect civilians. And she died from bullets protecting her own baby.
Okay. All right, Miss Best, I want you to, I'm going to reach out to you. I will send you a direct message on Twitter. I need you to, I don't want you to say anything else. I don't want you to say anything else online that you may, regret saying and I just want you to stop. But we will talk offline and we will continue this conversation and we will put together something, definitely. I'm in your corner. I would use what I have to help get the word out. You have my word on that. Okay?
Thank you. I just need to collect. I need to deal with my grandson. I need to put him to bed right now. It's 10:30 and I still have him up, but he gets upset and he's very sensitive. And I just want to just give him as much comfort as I can, but it hurts every day when he asks for his mommy. It hurts every single day.
Right. I understand. Thank you so much for sharing your story, and we'll be talking to you. I'll send you that direct message tonight. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome, lady.
And thank you for your listeners.
No problem. No problem at all. Our pleasure. Give it up for Miss Best, her courage, and what she's going through, guys. I don't think I have anything else I could possibly say to add to that. I had never heard her version of these events. I'm new to this story as of today, and as you see, the world is a small place when you're connected on the internet. And I added her today, and a friend that I got back in touch with had tweeted, and that was it. And here we go, and here she is, and here goes the story. Now what do we do? And this is why I say we cannot buy into those false narratives that everybody's a thug. And you heard me, guys. Where's Young Dread? Where you at, Young Dread? I know how people depict folks with dreadlocks. And I was just telling Young Dread 2 days ago, be careful. Be careful. He said, I know I'm a prime suspect for everything. A person of interest. Just when he walks out his door. And I was telling him, be careful, because for this very reason. But none of this was planned. I will definitely be following up with Miss Best, and we're going to make some noise. If nobody else do, we will. But this is the type of thing that really gets to me, because I know people who are putting out rhetoric about, maybe not this lady I haven't heard, right? But they just take the news and run with it, and they start assigning blame, and you really have to slow down. You really, truly must slow down and stop just piling on with stereotypes. We know those people that do that. And I'm just thankful that I woke up and I realized that I was becoming in a pursuit of trying to do stories and following people and thinking this is the way it's done. I'm glad I pulled up and said, I'm just going to go my own route, and I don't care. I'm just going to go my own way, and I'm just going to let each story dictate. So enough about me. I will be talking to Miss Best, and you will be seeing videos to that effect, and what we find out, you will know about. In that Washington Post story, I heard nothing about it even being this young lady's car. That's enough for me, guys. I don't know about you. But if they're trailing the guy, they say he's a person of interest, he's not driving, and it's not his car, so that would behoove you to what? Everything I said before I talked to Ms. Best stands. If the person of interest you're pursuing is in a car that does not belong to them, it's highly likely that the person that's driving that car is not them. At least it's got to be safely in the realm of possibility. I mean, like 50-50, right? I mean, yeah, it could be somebody else's car. He could be driving it, but come on. There were bullets in both car seats. So, and like I said before, I talked to Ms. Best. I said, that baby's in the back seat. Why are these 4 cops getting different treatment than those 2 cops who shot down Jeremy Martis? Well, because we're saying now those two cops meant to shoot Jeremy Martis? So it's just luck or unluck. You understand what I'm saying? It's unluck. Are we saying that this woman deserved to die because what? No, it's the onus is on the officers. We're talking about SWAT, tactical. Something's going on here. We need to get more information. Something has to be going on here. There's more to the story. I don't know if we'll be able to get to it without a lot of help. So anyway, thank you guys for being here for a long edition. Let me I'm not going to jump off real quick. I want to involve some of my people that hung around, some of my people that came back. I'm not going to leave abruptly. We're not in a rush. That's why I didn't do a show yesterday, because this show is the show. All right? This is it. As you can see, this is a pretty couple. I'm sorry. That's the mom. Mom looks so young. It's family. And a picture of the young lady in the Navy uniform is the daughter. That is Miss India Kager. All right. I'm going to take that off the screen now. Just wanted to give people a context of the grief. You see the grief in this mother's face. All right. I'm going to come to you, Meerkat people. Thank you for being here. Let me jump over real quick, man, just to see what, thank you, YouTube people, because you really had to hold on. My Meerkat people, at least they can see me and talk to me. My YouTube people, my YouTube Wolfpack people, they didn't know what was going on. I was actually offline and gone. How y'all doing, Rob? Thank you so much for helping me out with this. Adriano, how you doing, man? Rap. Nicholas Zebra. Brooklyn, Maine. Thank you all for being here, man. Thank you for hanging in there with that story. And that's why I say, guys, Black said what? Exactly. Need to get this out there. You know what, guys? I'm trying to tell you. I said this a couple of days ago. I said, man, and I don't, please correct me. Please bear with me. Bear with me, man. That's why I said, man, I'm starting to get to a point where this ain't even about me. I've been saying that, because I felt like that's where greatness lied. So I've been saying that to myself over and over, that this is not about me, it's about we. And I've been repeating that for, a long time. And they say it's like an affirmation to keep reminding yourself, because, everybody wants to be successful at what they do. You put your heart and soul in something. But I just kept feeling like the less it was about me, the better I would be at doing this. And I'm trying to tell y'all, man, it's putting me in touch with people. Stories like this. How can you sell out people like this? How do you sell out people like this? I wish for those people. I'm not going to call anybody coons or none of that stuff, man. I'm not going to do that. And I didn't call. I don't know why people are saying I did. I don't refer to people. I try not to. I've been sarcastic and going with the flow sometimes. But look, man, I don't want to get into that type of rhetoric. But what I wish for anyone who's buying into false concepts, horrible stereotypical narratives, I wish for you to be touched by Linda Best and her story, so that you can wake up out of that. And there's no amount of money, there's no amount of success that's worth backstabbing, betraying people, human beings, right? Whether it be the family of John Livingston, who I did a story on, who I've had 7 different members of his family reach out to me, or Linda Best. Just saying. All right, that's enough. You're missing out on the goodness. You're missing out on the good. What's really good, guys? You're missing out on it when you just go for the dough. I'm trying to tell you. If I'm able to help this woman at all, At all. I mean, if I'm able, imagine if I'm able to help her at all, y'all. Y'all feel me? Wolfpack, y'all hear me? If I'm able to help this woman at all, man, it's all worth it, ain't it? We gonna help this woman. That's what we gonna do. We gonna help this woman together. Me and my Wolfpack, we gonna help her. That's what we gonna do. Me and my Wolfpack, we gonna help her. We ain't gonna charge her a dime, and we gonna help her with everything we got. All right. Thank you, Meerkat people, for being here. I appreciate you as well, just as much. Meerkat people quietly are an army of their own. Geo King. Happy to see you, Geo King. Thought you were new. I don't think I've seen you before, Geo. Thank you. Irish Mike. Thank you, Irish Mike, for being here. Rob, you already know, man. Sativa. Nerdy, dope artist. Love it. No, love it. That's right. Be nerdy. Be who you are, nerdy, dope artist. I love it. Be authentic. Thank you, Junior. Snowman. Everybody, look, guys, I'm out. I'm going to let Kim come back in. Kim, you have some words you want to say before we go? Before we wrap it up, Kim? Hey, Kim.
Wow. How you doing, Tim? This was heart-wrenching. This was so heart-wrenching. I'm gonna put a story out, and my heart is where your heart is. Somebody asked me today. They said, "Oh, you're doing some shows on YouTube here and there. I'm all over the place. You getting paid?" I said, "I'm not interested in money. I'm interested in the human family and people being hurt. And then you get a story raw like that, and then you get the truth. That oh man, I'm lost for words. I'm not lost for words. Tim, I'm just too choked up right now.
I totally understand. I totally understand.
It's not much I can say. Forgive me today, everyone. Please forgive me. I got tears in my eyes.
It's okay.
I digress.
All right.
I just can't.
Hey guys. Hey, thank you, Kim. Hey, Kim. I think, Kim, you speak for, hell, woman, you speak for all of us. We all feel that way. But we're gonna take the grief of this mother, and we're gonna go get some answers, and we're gonna put some heat on some asses. I was on Roland S. Martin show today. I was like, wow, I'm talking to Roland S. Martin on the air. I could have brought this story up. I'm going to tweet him. I'm gonna reach out to anybody who will listen to me. Hopefully, as we get bigger, more people will listen, and we'll be able to affect more change. But we gotta use what we got. We're gonna reach out to everybody. And Gina Best, we're gonna work with her. All right, guys. Thank you so much for being here once again. I'm not playing no music. Nope. Not playing any music, but I got a song in my heart right now. I do. We can do some good, y'all. And people say, why are you doing this? what can you do? What can you change? You're not CNN. Like one of them guys called up, he said, like a woman would tell you, Tim, she'd be like, you ain't doing nothing but making videos on YouTube. Man. You know what? I want any hater to continue thinking that way, because maybe then you won't try to stop me. It's easy to kill a seed when it's small, when it's new, So I like people to think, well, Timmy, you ain't doing nothing. Because they all told me that. You ain't going to be able to do nothing. Then I went on TV. Oh, that ain't nothing. Then I'm on a radio show. That ain't nothing. Then Dick Gregory said he listens to my stuff. Oh, you ain't nothing. So what? They're just going to keep saying it. One day, we're going to be getting people off death row who don't need to be there. We're going to be uniting people. We're going to have a coalition of blacks, Asians, whites, every color. We don't even talk about color. We're going to be so far down the road, we're going to laugh at anybody who even brings up color. Because we'll have created a revolution of people who just see human beings. Somehow. And the color is just a bonus. You know what I'm saying? Like, they ain't going to be the first thing you think about. It's a selling point. I got plans, man. But anyway, I can keep going on and on, man. I am a dreamer. But you got to have big dreams. You got to have big goals. Some people goals too small. I just want to get 10,000 subscribers. I just want to make $1 million. You help enough people, you'll make as much money as you need to make. That's what I believe. Thank you guys for supporting this channel and to support this channel. Ho. Y'all like what I'm doing here? Well, you know what? That phone costs money. You saw what I had, all the technical problems? Old ass desktop. Hello? Patreon.com. Tips Take Live, please. Thank you, Kim King. Thank you, Kim. Queen Kim. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Bass. Thank you, Raymond. Rest of y'all, come on now. Holla. It ain't for me to drive no fancy car. You don't want to see what I'm driving. I'm talking about, you don't want to see my house. I don't have no mansion, no 3-car garage, nothing like that. But I help people. All right, I'm gone, guys. I'll see y'all tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you, Blog Talk Radio, for putting up with me. My technical difficulties tonight. Thank you, Stitcher Radio. Thank you, iTunes. Be here tomorrow and stay tuned. Come to IamTimBlack.com, because if you missed the videos that I put out regarding the unnecessary death and the killing of India Kager, you will be missing a lot. You hear me? All right. Good night.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.